Alright guys and gals, maybe. So, as you can see, I got my pups in the background, but we're heading to the vet. Figured I'd make a video on this whole thing about the EPA, RPM Act, stuff like that. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I felt like I needed to make a video anyways. What triggered this whole deal, I've been kind of following what's happening in different shops and everything, but what really triggered me wanting to make a video was the video I watched yesterday with the PFI speed. They got fined by the EPA. I believe the fine was $18,000, which was reduced from $180,000. That's what they said in their video. It's kind of what triggered it, because I've been watching those guys, Boosted Boys and all them, for about 4 or 5 years now, and genuine group of guys. They're not rich guys. They're just trying to make a living, building race cars, hanging out with their friends, going to the track, stuff like that. Really pissed me off when I watched that video yesterday. I knew this stuff was happening, but I don't know. If you watch somebody for several years do something and then they just get attacked out of nowhere, it really pisses you off. And this is just another example of many of the government overreach into people's lives where they don't need to be. The government has, I don't care which side you're on, left, right, liberal, Democrat, Republican, conservative, it doesn't matter. The government, if you cannot see, the government has way too much power, way too much influence, you're a part of the problem. I'm just gonna say it like that. And this is just a product of voting for big government policies over the last, I'll say, 100 years or so. And it's gotten to this point where they feel like they can interfere in people's lives depending on which team is in office. And it isn't, the EPA is, I understand the EPA was doing this stuff regardless of who was in office. They were doing it probably around 2015 is when it really started getting bad, and I started noticing it. And it really started with the diesel industry, and now it's moved to the gas and stuff like that. And those PFI speed guys, they do some tuning, but apparently the fine that they got was for a piggyback that they sell. They're just a third party. They don't manufacture it. They just sell it to individuals. The EPA come in and ask them who they were buying from, who they were selling to as individuals, and I guess they figured out the amount that they sold, and it was a certain fine per each, and they reduced it because they acted like they were doing them a favor, down to $18,000 fine. And this aggravates me a lot, because the EPA or the government is not going to solve climate change. Regardless of your views on it, whether you think it's man-made, whether it's not man-made, whether it's all man-made, whether it's some, they're not going to fix it. The government has had the opportunity to fix lots of things. They've had the opportunity to end the war on drugs, because they haven't been able to stop drugs. Drugs are probably at an all-time high. They've been spending billions of dollars of our tax dollars trying to fight this stuff, and it's still here. And we know where it's coming from. We know who's doing it, but they still can't stop it. You really think they're going to be able to stop this just by fining and taxing people? No, they're not going to stop it. All they want is money. That's the only thing the government has always ever wanted was money. The way this government was set up back in 1776, it's gone so far from that. It's just we're heading towards a breaking point on this deal. And if you can't see it, if you don't see it the way I see it, I'm sorry, but I figured I would make this video to see if I can change some minds. Because I mean, the government is one of the biggest offenders of pollution, climate change, through the Department of Defense. It's one of the biggest polluters in the world, if not probably the biggest. I know it's the biggest polluter in America. It's the Department of Defense. But they are not ending any wars. They're still overseas, bombing the hell out of people, stealing our tax dollars to bomb the hell out of people, funding terrorism, destabilizing countries, and polluting the air in the process. And they don't look to themselves to create change. They just go after individuals because that's where the money is. The government has no money. The government either prints it, borrows it, or steals it out of your paycheck. That's the only place the government has any money. And all three of those, if you were to do that, you would be in jail. Besides the borrowing, you can borrow the money. But a lot of times, the only thing we're paying is the interest on the debt, not even the debt itself. So you can't take money from a bank and just pay the interest. So you may not be, if you bought a house and you paid just the interest on it, not the actual principal, you lose your house. But the government is above all rules, so they do whatever they want to. But it just aggravated me seeing these guys wrapped up in this, because these are not big. He's not a big corporation. A lot of these people get fined are not big corporations and they're making millions of dollars a year. They're small people, small businesses that are just trying to make a living and trying to provide a service, trying to put food on their table. And the racing industry has overall gotten cleaner, in my opinion. We've got fuel injection. A lot of people know how to tune better than they did back in the day with the carburetors and stuff like that. Ethanol is a big thing. E85. I run E85 in my car. Like my car, for example, you come from the factory with a rotary engine. The rotary engines have an oil metering pump on them that injects oil into the combustion chamber and burns it. That's how it keeps the lubricity on the apex seals. But I pulled that out, put in an LS engine that gets 23 to 24 maybe miles to the gallon on the highway with 93 and probably about 16 or 17 on the E85, which both of those are still better than what I got with the rotary, when the car was rotary powered. And this is on ethanol with no oil metering pumps burning oil. It doesn't make any sense to me. These people have no idea what's going on. The racing industry as a whole has gotten cleaner. People building cars even in their backyard, all the stuff has gotten cleaner. It's just the way the evolution of the cars have happened. But they don't care about that. They don't want you to modify anything that came equipped with a factory emissions system on it. And that's just that kills the industry. Kills stuff that I do, kills stuff that you do. Makes us criminals overnight if they really start enforcing this stuff. Now this has always been a law. People have gotten around it by putting for off-road use only or whatever on their websites when they're selling stuff, and it's just this stuff is coming to an end. EPA's done with it. So I really don't know where to go from here. People that are getting fined have too much to lose to rise up and do some kind of crazy something against the government. I mean, they're too good of people. I'm not going to do that. That's dumb. They're not going to do that. They got too much to lose. I just don't know where to go from here, guys. Other than we're going to have to send a message somehow that the millions of people that this is their passion, this is what they do, this is why they go to work sometimes, this is what they do with their friends. We're gonna have to send a message somehow, and I don't know how. let me know what y'all think. Let me know if I'm completely off base. But I just don't see how a government that is for the people, that is sole purpose was to protect our rights and our pursuit of happiness, is able to come in and fine us like this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And people just stand back and not only not do anything about it, but some people are fully on board with the government doing this. They're just like behind them 120% until it happens to them. A lot of people in this industry were all for, I'm sure all for at one time, government control over stuff until it happens to them and they realize how toxic the government is. I don't know. It really does piss me off very badly, but there's nothing I can do. Not singly in many ways, not as an individual. There's nothing I can do. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you think, and hopefully have some content tomorrow on going to the drag strip if it doesn't rain us out. And take care.